Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another balloon video. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a gumball balloon like this. This one is a helium filled one, as you can see, and it is utilising 5-inch latex balloons and a Qualitex 24-inch deco bubble. So we'll go through everything from start to finish, what you're going to need for this project, how to do it and how to make it look exactly like this. I have this one here sitting on a little balloon base as well, so I'm going to show you how to make that also. So let's jump in without any further ado. Let's quickly just run through what we're going to need to make this bubble then. So first of all, you're going to need a bubble. I always use Qualitex deco bubbles. I'm going to be using the 24-inch size. It's the size that I always use because they're a really good sized balloon, and I find the 20-inch ones to be a little bit small and they don't hold up as much weight as a 24-inch can. I've got a 5-inch balloon here that's just got some water in it, and I'm just going to use that as my weight for my balloon today. I have a length of curling ribbon. This one is just a lilac curling ribbon. There is nothing special about this, it's just 2 meters of curling ribbon just to put onto the bubble to hold it down to the weight. Then I have my 2-way pump. This is for the collars and the base. Then I've got 3 different sections of small 5-inch latex balloons, and these are going to be used for inside the balloon. So I've got 6 balloons, 2 in each colour, to go on the inside of the gumball. Then I've got 2 here that are exactly the same, and with each set of these I'm going to make 2 quads and make a small base and a collar of balloons as well to go around the bottom of this and then on the bottom as well. So that is everything that you'll need to complete this project. First of all, we're going to start off by making the collar and the base. So what you want to do is just separate your balloons so that you've got them in 2 different sections, and I'm going to concentrate on the first one here. So in order to make the base, what we're going to need is 2 sets of 4, and we call those quads. So we're going to make those now. First of all, just start off by arranging your balloons how they're going to be. So because this one's got 3 colours in it, I'm going to need to put the 2 greens opposite one another, and then I'm going to have the lilac and the white together as well. So let's start off by just inflating the one lilac balloon, and I find that 2 pumps on one of these Qualitex 2-way balloon pumps is absolutely perfect for these. And if you count your pumps, you're going to end up with balloons that are exactly the same size, and then you don't need to worry about sizing them. You can size them if you want to, but I just find this easier. So in order to make the first duplicate, what you want to do is just cross those balloons over at the necks like so, and just tie them underneath together. So then this is now a duplicate. We're going to make 2 of those, so we're going to make a green one now. Again, cross them over, tie them around each other and just tie a knot underneath. In order to make this into a quad, what we want to do is just pop them on top of each other like this, push them together and twist them around. And we want the green in this instance to be opposite one another and the white and the lilac to be opposite one another. So we're going to do that another 3 times with all of these other balloons. So now I've got 2 sets of quads here, and there's 2 different ways to arrange it. You can either have it with 3 colours so that you've got all 3 colours showing on one side, or you can turn it around so that it's like this, and then on the other side you've got the purple. I actually prefer it to be mixed like this, so you've got all of the colours on one side. So what you'll want to do now, because we're making a base and a collar, is put the water weight into one of these quads of balloons. So here's the water weight. It's just a little 5-inch, exactly the same balloon as I'm using here, just with a little bit of water into it. If you are using a water weight, I just recommend that you tell your customer that there is a water weight on the balloon, especially if they've got kids or animals around, because obviously this could pop. What you want to do is just grab one of your quads and you're just going to get it underneath like this. And what you'll want to do is just tie this neck of this balloon around here so that it's just held on nice and securely into that quad. So I'm just going to pass that neck through there and bring it round onto this side so you can see. Now it's just wrapped around there, and I'm just going to tie this piece of the neck to the actual balloon underneath. It's difficult to show you this on camera because I can't really get in while my fingers are underneath, but so that is what it's going to look like underneath, and that is now going to hold that piece of balloon absolutely firmly there at the bottom. I'm just going to pop that down on the desk, and then I'm going to pop my balloons back on the top. I have got another piece of curling ribbon here, so I'm just going to cut this in half because I don't really need this full length. This is a really long length of ribbon, so I'm just going to chop that up. And then what I'm going to do is just take it across the top of my quads here, and I'm just going to pull it down to the bottom and just securely tie that in a double knot underneath there. And that's just going to hold that base together. And then when the balloon is finished, what we can do is attach it onto this base, and it just finishes off the design nicely. I'm just going to cut off those little bits of spare ribbon that are on there. So now that is our base ready to go. We don't need to do anything with the other one for the collar of balloons. I'm just going to leave those loose for now. Now we're going to do our gumball part of the balloon. I've just come over to my machine then, and this is the machine that we use in the shop for helium inflation. If you don't have one of these, it doesn't matter. You can use a tilt valve off of a helium cylinder if that's what you're doing. You could even do this with a disposable cylinder if necessary. I do have another video on how to inflate a balloon using a tilt valve, and I'll link that above now for you and down below in the description, so you can check that out if you're just using a tilt valve. But for the most part, it is relatively similar process. So don't worry too much about that. First things first, then what we want to do is open up our bubble and get that out of the packaging. So I'm just going to tear the top off and just show you what comes inside of this bubble. So let's take that out. Because the bubble is a really pliable plastic, you do get a moisture pack in there, and it's just a damp towel that's inside of a little plastic packet, and this just keeps that balloon from drying out, so it keeps it nice and pliable and ready to use. So you can just discard all of that. You don't need to keep the moisture pack or anything like that. What we want to do first of all is just open out the bubble, and where the bubble will differ from the Bobo balloons that you've probably seen people use is this is full size when you get it out of the packaging. You don't need to stretch it or manipulate it in any way at all, so definitely don't do that with a deco bubble. Next, all I'm going to do is just grab the neck of my balloon, and I'm going to just pop it onto my helium foil inflator just for a couple of seconds, just to free up the inside of that bubble. Just put a little bit of helium inside this bubble now, and I'm going to just grab a drinking straw, and we keep one of these over here for this purpose. So what I'm going to do is get my balloon, I'm going to pop it onto the drinking straw and just hold it in my hand like this at one end. Then I just get the neck of my balloon and just open it up carefully, and then what I'm going to do is just slide my green balloon on the straw inside like so, and I'm just going to pull out that straw. Now you can see I'm holding it here in my fingers, and I've got the neck of the balloon there. What I'm going to do now is inflate this on my machine. I have just changed the adapter on my machine here because this one is a little bit too long, so I'm just going to use the short one, and then I have dropped my sizing down to 0.3 seconds because this machine uses seconds to inflate. So the balloon is in there now. What I'm going to do is pop it onto the valve and just inflate it to 5 inches in size. Next, we just want to pull the neck down out of the balloon and tie it off. So just tie a normal knot like you would if you were tying off a normal balloon. Once we've got that tied, what we want to do is just take a pair of scissors and just cut off this neck part here and the end of the balloon, because we don't want that in our bubble and have that visible. Now I've got 5" inside my bubble. This is what it's going to look like. So it's not stretched out or anything just yet. So we're now going to fill the rest of this balloon with helium. I'm going to start off doing it on the foil inflator just here, and then I will finish it off on the latex one, which is what I've used for this one here. Now if you don't have this machine, as I've said, there is another video that you can use, and it's going to show you how to do this balloon using a helium cylinder and a tilt valve. So again, I will link that for you down below. So if you don't have this machine, you're still going to be able to do this balloon. So I'm just going to finish off inflating this, and then I'll show you exactly how to tie this balloon off and make sure that it's fully inflated. Okay, so this is now quite well inflated. However, there are still some lines on the balloon, and we don't want any lines in the seam at all. So I'm now going to transfer over to the latex inflator and just get rid of all of those lines. Just keep watching the balloon and you'll see how those lines do disappear. So that's about as full as I like to go with one of these bubbles. As you can see, it's very, very taut now, and there are hardly any lines at that seam. So the next thing to do is tie the balloon off. So let's do that now. I've just taken my balloon off of the inflator, and what I need to do is make sure that I'm holding this nice and tight. And I'm just going to twist that around my fingers 3 or 4 times, just so that that neck is nicely twisted there, as you can see. Now what I'm going to do is grab a 260Q modelling balloon, and I'm going to wrap that around here to create a really secure seal on this balloon. So now that we've got it wrapped around like so, what we're going to do is grab a portion of a 260Q modelling balloon, and we're going to wrap that around here really tightly and tie it off so that we create a really good secure seal. So what I do is just pull it nice and tight around there, and I just flip that, and then I just hold the knot here and just go round and round, and I do it 3, 4, 5 times, however many times you'd like, to create a really, really good secure seal. Once that is how it looks, what I do then is just tie that off with the other side of the 260 in a double knot. Again, making sure that it's really nice and tight and that that isn't going to come undone at all. What you can do now is just grab your scissors and take off those excess ends just there. Now that that's on there and that is really well sealed, as you can see, all our balloons are inside. Now our balloon is nicely sealed, what we're going to do is grab our piece of ribbon and we're going to attach that onto the balloon. Now you can either just tie it on in a normal knot if you want to, but what I like to do is make a small loop just like so, and I'm making a cinch knot. So I'm going to just wrap that around there, and then I'm going to pull the 2 ends of my ribbon through there, and then I just pull it nice and tight, and I always make sure that that piece of ribbon is right up close to the neck of the balloon and that the knot in the 260Q that I've used is below it. So this is also then creating a secondary seal for the balloon as well. Then once that's done, I'm going to just tie that again in a nice double knot, nice and tightly, and make sure that it's well tied onto that balloon. Now we've got our ribbon on the balloon, it's time to add on our quads of balloons that we made earlier. So I've got 2 quads of balloons here in the same colours that are inside. What we're going to do is get the first one, and we're just going to pop it onto the top of that neck of the balloon, and I'm just going to pull my ribbons up. So that is now being held onto the balloon there. Now I'm going to get my second one, and remember I've got my pattern to be so that all the colours are showing on one side, and I just place it on the top the same way that I did when I was making the base of the balloons. Got my 2 lengths of ribbon. What I'm going to do is cross them over and then just pull that tightly and just wrap them around the underneath and back out the top there. If you want to tie it off, you can, so you can go all the way around again, and then just tie it into itself when you bring it back up. So you're just creating another double knot on the inside there, and then again you can cut off this little length of ribbon with your scissors. There we go. So that is how that looks, and now it's attached to the balloon. So let's go over, so we've got a bit more space, into the main bit of the shop, and I'll show you how to attach this onto your base. Here's our base then, and our ribbon that's coming off of our bubble balloon that we've just inflated with the helium. So usually I will cut off the necks off these 5-inch balloons, but because we need the extra strength and stability, I normally leave them on when I'm doing a base here. I'm just going to get my ribbon, and I'm going to make sure that my balloon is at the height that I want it to be. So let's just get our ribbon, and all we're going to do is just pass it through the base of the balloons, and then we're going to come out the other side and back up into the middle. So that is now attached there to that balloon, but we have only looped it round. So what I'm going to do is loop it round a couple more times. You can do it in a figure of 8 motion as well if you want to, because that's going to stop it from coming undone. Once you've done it around as many times as you like, just pass your ribbon to the bottom, and then you can just cut that off as well, and then that is attached nicely to your balloon. Here's our finished balloon then. It looks fab. I really like this colour combination, and there at the bottom is the base as well, so it just finishes it off nicely. The only thing I would add to this would be some streamers, and I would just probably use 3 lengths of ribbon, just curl it up and pop it over the top of the balloon collar here, and it will just hold it up there. It just finishes off the design really nicely and makes it look even better than it does already. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget, any questions or comments that you might have, pop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them for you, and what I'll do is list all of the items that I've used in today's video in the description down below, along with links there for you to follow if you want to have a look at all of the items that I've used. So take care of yourselves, have a fabulous week, and I'll see you soon for another one. Bye!